Are you ready to finish our Falling for Autumn quilt? It's time. Hey everyone, Cristin here, and I'm thinking that we can finish our quilt today. Oh boy, our big project that we've been working on for a while, Falling for Autumn. It's gorgeous. Don't you just love it? I'm so excited about this quilt. This has been a really fun project with all of our personalizations. I absolutely love this one. I can't show it all to you. It's too big. But oh my gosh, this has just been a really fun project, and I love that so many of us are doing this together. All right, so put it aside. So today we will finish it up. So that will be the backing, the binding, the embellishments, which there aren't very many of. I was looking at that. Sometimes when you finish a quilt, the embellishments are a whole nother project, but this one, it's not going to be very much. We don't have very much to it. And then we're going to do a label. So I want to start off by telling you, I'm hoping to make a label. And what I'll do, if I'm able to do it, I haven't started on that yet. I've been pretty busy with the projects, but I'm hoping to create a label, and if I do, then I am going to send it to everyone that created a donation, everyone that made a donation to Cristin Creates during the time of this project. I will send you that label. And again, I haven't done it yet. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to have time to do that, but I'm going to try. That is my hope. So a personalized label, and if I'm able to do that, then I will just automatically send it to those. I have a whole list of the people that made a donation to the Cristin Creates tutorials. So if you haven't already created a donation and you want to do that, I will add a link for PayPal here. This one, well, you just click on that and create a donation to Cristin Creates, and it's so appreciated. I love seeing that you're appreciating the work that I put into these tutorials. It's very nice. I appreciate that very much, and it helps fund all of the expenses that are involved. So I just redid my video editing software the other day. That's quite expensive. All of the things. the filming equipment, everything. So I really appreciate your support of my tutorials. So the other option is Venmo. I will add a link here for Venmo for those of you that prefer Venmo. Either one of those will work fine. I appreciate that. Or you can reach out to me and send me in a message to get my address if you prefer that. Either way is fine. So for the people that have created a donation all during this project, so we announced this in April. So all of those people from April through October and well, actually the beginning of November are going to automatically receive that label if I'm able to make it. And those people also received that envelope pennant file that I created or that I had Embrilliance create for us actually. So anyway, 2 little gifts to thank you for supporting our channel. So now let's go ahead and get started on the things that we need to do before we can make a label. All right, so our backing fabric. So our backing is on page 56 of our Falling for Autumn book. And I want to point out, this one is a fabric with a design on it. So sometimes we get a silky solid and then you don't have to worry about which way, right side up or not. This one you will have to do that. So you can see it is a cream fabric with lines all over it. All right, so this is for our backing fabric. So we will lay this down right side down, all right, and then put our quilt top on top of that right side up. So wrong sides will be together. I hope that makes sense, okay? Wrong sides together for the back of the quilt and the back of our quilt, our backing fabric. That's what it's called, sorry. All right, and you want 1.5 yards of this backing fabric, all right? 1.5 yards of whatever fabric you choose. One other thing is if you want, you can make yourself a cream bobbin, a bobbin with cream colored thread in it, because this is a cream. White will work fine as well. Either one, whatever you do. I'm almost certain I'm just gonna use white, but you have that option. All right, and then a couple of tips on backing. So, good pins. I always recommend definitely get yourself some good pins. It makes the process so much easier. Oh my goodness. I've shared several times that when I first started this, I bought really pretty pins. There was pink, there were several different colors, and I ended up having to trash those like immediately. They did not work well at all. Trying to get them through all those layers of fabric was impossible. So invest in some good pins. These are Drits. I will add a link from Amazon here. If you click on that link, you can buy the pins that I recommend. They are curved and they're super sharp and they make the process so much easier. So we will pin every block and then do our stitch in the ditch. And as we complete around one block, each block, as we complete it, I always just take the pin out, and then that tells me that that one is done. I don't have to keep trying to move the big quilt to see underneath it. That's my process, is I go all the way around each block. We start from the middle and work our way out. And then when I have all 4 sides stitched in the ditch, I take out that pin so I know that that block is done. All right, little tip there. All right, and the other thing is I use my Move It foot. This is Brother. I'm sure Baby Lock has the same type of thing. And it's, like I said, it's called the Move It foot. It's a dual feed foot. So whatever your machine has in that, it does make it easier. I didn't bring it, but I also have a Stitch in the Ditch foot where it's got this little black piece down here, and it makes it so that it will go right. It kind of pulls the fabrics apart a little bit so that you can stitch right in the ditch, and that little Stitch in the Ditch foot definitely makes it easier as well. The other really key thing is invisible thread. All right, you definitely want invisible thread. That makes it so that you're not stressing about making sure that it's exactly right. Invisible thread will calm your concerns. All right, so I will add a link here of where you can get the thread, the invisible thread. I use Gutermann. I've also used Sulky. The link I'm giving you is for Gutermann. That's what I'm going to use today, and it works really well. I've tried others, and some of them I've been not a fan of, and this one works really well. So I like that one. All right, so we are going to get started on stitching in the ditch. It's not hard. It takes some time. If you have a machine with a wide throat, that definitely makes it a lot easier. If you're working on a little 5x7 machine or a sewing machine with a small throat, it's harder, but just roll that fabric up and just take your time. Don't stress about it. It's not a very big long process, especially with this type of quilt. It's the 32-inch quilt, something like that. Actually, I think it's bigger than that, but anyway, it's not one of those monster quilts that's even harder. So don't stress about it. Take your time. We're going to do our stitch in the ditch to get our back fabric on, and then we'll move on. All right, and once we have that back fabric on, then it's time to do our binding. So our binding is also on page 56 of our booklet, our Falling for Autumn booklet. And one key thing, don't stabilize your binding fabric. It makes the process so much harder. I've done it before by mistake. Even after telling you guys not to, I did it. So try not to, because what it does is it makes it really hard to get those mitered corners right. It definitely, it can be done, but it's hard. So our fabric is this brown and white stripes. It is a directional fabric. I showed on the prep video that it is directional. You have to be careful with that and how you cut it. It's in the book. I don't remember, I told you from the prep video where to find that information. Let me just look really quick. It'll just take a second. So on page 7 of our book, there is a guide. It's actually 6 and 7. There is a guide of lay the fabric out like this, cut it this way, and that will help you to get the directional fabric right. And if it's not, if it's going the other way, so what? Your quilt, your way, it's okay. Not a big deal. It's a personalization, right? And we did lots of personalizations on this quilt. All right, so on our binding fabric, like I said, the brown and white striped, it is directional. And we want 5 strips that are 2.5 inches wide times the width of the fabric. All right, 5 strips, 2.5 inches wide times width of fabric. That is for our binding. All right, and like I said, it's on page 56 of our book. All right, so our binding now, I have a very specific technique that I use for my binding. If you've got your own technique, do it your way, absolutely. And some people bind their quilts by hand. More power to you. I definitely do not do that. Definitely not. I tried it one time on just like a little pillow, and oh boy, not my thing for sure. So I have my own way. I create a little pocket and I put the ending into that pocket, and it's just easy. And so I will show you step by step how I do that. If you have your own technique on binding, absolutely do that. All right, so let's get started on our binding. All right, once we have our entire quilt complete, our whole backing on, our binding on. Oh my gosh, my dog just stinking. Oh, oh boy. Sorry, blooper. All right. Anyway, embellishments. We're going to do the embellishments. So the cool thing is that there's very little, all right? And I heard some people decided to leave the wreath off of their doors. That's totally up to you. You could stitch a wreath if you want. You can have no wreath. We already did some personalizations on each of our houses. So either way, whatever works for you, I'm going to use them. And then we have these little pieces to stitch on and the labels. And so I'm going to show all of those just step by step in photos, make it really easy for you to know what goes where. Super simple, and then we're done, and we just need to personalize it with a label. And like I said, I'm going to work on that, and I will add that to this video. I did it. I made a quilt label. I'm pretty excited about it. Look at how cute. Sweater weather with leaves and the cozy sweater, and made by Cristin. And notice I put the year in the sweater. I think that's so fun. So like I mentioned, this I've made for all the people that created a donation to Cristin Creates during the time of this project. So I will send you an email. I need to know what the name that you want on there, and I need to know the format that your machine uses. That's the very most important part. So if you've created a donation, keep a lookout for my email. I will do that over the next couple of days. Once I get caught up, I will send you that label, and you can stitch it out and sew it onto the back of your quilt and be ready to go. So again, I need to know the format of your machine, and this is for the people that created a donation. If you haven't made a donation yet and you want to get this label, just send it to me here via PayPal. You just click on that link and create a donation, and I will send you this label. How fun is that? I love it. I love how it came out. So I'm going to use these same fonts that I purchased, and I need to know the name that you want on it and the format of your machine. And then you'll obviously stitch it out and then sew it onto the back of your machine, or I'm sorry, onto the back of your project. It's late. Oh my goodness. So a couple of things I want to point out. Oh my goodness. So the embellishments, those scented candles, those were so cool. Oh my goodness. These were really, really fun. I have to point that out. They smell so good. That was really, really fun. I really enjoyed that. And sewing on the acorns, you can pin them, you can hot glue them, you can sew them. I just hand tacked them down. Some people are doing the stitched acorns, and that's an option. That's on the CD as well. I wanted to point this out. So there are just a couple of things. So this was super easy to do. The fringe on the end of the blanket, these, the wreaths on the doors. The first one I did was difficult. So you'll get the hang of it. I promise. It's really actually quite easy. But when you see the package of the wreaths, there's 3 of them in a package. And so I just assumed there's 1 per house. And that's way too much. You can do 4 wreaths in one wreath piece. So don't try and loop it all together. It's too thick and too big. So what I did is I tacked down the first part, and then I just started molding the wreath and hand tacking it along as I continued going. And then at the end, I just trimmed off the excess and moved on to the next one. It wasn't hard at all. super easy. It took a little getting used to at first though. So like I said, I tacked it down first, and then I started manipulating the wreath to the size that I wanted. And then you can also push out the leaves after you've got it all done, and it makes it look really nice too. So anyway, it was easy to do. Beautiful quilt. I'm so excited. I actually had it hanging on my wall late last night, but now I took it down so that I can put my label on it. I'm very excited about it. And my shirt today, this is Candy Corn Queen. That's right. It's the right season for it, right? I love this shirt. I love this one. I've had this for a ton of years. And it's a short sleeve shirt, and it's cold here, so I'm wearing my cycling arm warmers with it, even though they're pink and they really don't go. I don't care. I like it. It's a fun shirt. I will add information under this video of where you can get the design. I don't recall off the top of my head. I want to say it was either So Cute Appliques or Hoop Mama, but I will add information underneath this video as long as I find it again. All right. But cute shirt. By the way, the shirt is from Amazon. It is, I think it was by Lat, if I recall, but it's like a football shirt. How fun, right? With the football stripes. So that's a fun shirt, and it was easy to embroider on. I will add a link here as long as I find which shirt that I bought on Amazon. Like I said, it's years old, but I will add a link. It's a fun shirt to be able to embroider on. And how are you doing with your goal? Oh my gosh, it's our last day to talk about our goal. So I actually am 1.2 pounds away from my overall goal. So I didn't make it within my time frame, although I might by the time I finish all the supplies that are needed for today, maybe, but probably not. Either way, I did great. I'm really happy about it. I'm very happy. I'm in my skinniest jeans and I feel really good. How did you do with your goal? I want to hear about it. What was your goal? How did you work toward it? I know like Katie Mayo and Susan, oh my gosh, there's so many people that have worked really hard on a specific goal during this project and shared little bits of information throughout. So I want to hear about it. And if you're one of those that sends me a message saying, I'm thinking about doing a goal, just do it. So the Nativity Bench Pillow we're going to work on next, and you'll need a whole new goal for that. And I'm going a totally different route on that one for that goal. I haven't totally secured what I'm going to do, but that one will be a shorter project. So it would be a good one for those of you that haven't set a goal. That would be a good one to set a goal for, because it's a shorter amount of time, and so you could work toward that goal. So, and like I said, there's so many things, right? You could clean your craft room, work on older projects, work on mental health and getting yourself out and meeting new people, or being around only good people and not allowing narcissism or dangerous toxic environments, or there's so many things, right? I mean, there's so many things that we always should be working on to be at our best and to keep ourselves safe and healthy and all of that. Eating healthy, going to sleep on time. I need to make that a goal. I definitely need to make that a goal after this last week. So lots of goal options. Think about something that will push you to make yourself better at being you. And let me know, how did this past goal go? And we'll talk about your future goal when we get to our next project.